Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so thirsty, so let's have a little SMR. Congratulations on finding the coolest channel on YouTube right now. I go by the name of Avza K on Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, on all my social media platforms. If you are a returning subscriber, a regular at day one, thank you, my baby, for tuning in once more. I love and appreciate you very much. And if you're new here, welcome. It shows that you know and see good things. That intro took everything in me. But anyways, as you would have seen by the title, today's video is a little different. I don't usually do these kinds of videos, but I promised you guys that I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna be better and I'm gonna be coming back with more fun and interactive content that will make you guys know me better. Today is a first time tech video, so I know a lot of you don't know much about me, especially if you're new here and you haven't watched my old videos. You just know that I live in Shanghai, blah blah blah. So this is gonna help you to get to know me just a tiny bit better. So let's get into it, shall we? Get into it. My first time traveling overseas. Okay, this is so cute. The first time ever that I traveled overseas was when I actually went to au pair in America. So that was the first time getting out of the country. That was so exciting. Like, I'm so glad I did that. So the second question is my first job. So my first proper job, I would say, guys, if you hear a sound, where I'm sitting is next to the laundry room. So I have some clothes in the dryer. So please don't mind that. But anyways, the first job I ever had, and it actually paid me. It was kind of like a part-time-ish kind of thing, kind of vibe. It was also on campus. I was like assistant librarian. So when the actual librarians were not around, me and this other girl who was also employed by the school, we worked at the library. So we basically helped students take out books, return books. We helped find books. Like, we basically did all the library stuff, most of the stuff in the library that you could think of. So I'd say that was my proper job because I got paid, not much, but it was a job. Like, I had like a contract, I had a tax number. Yeah, so that was my proper job. My second job would have to be the plagiarism officer job. Third question, my first heartbreak. My first heartbreak, guys, I don't take umjolo seriously. Honestly, I don't take relationships seriously. So I have never had a heartbreak so far. I mean, I've had bad breakups where I was sort of like maybe mad at the person or whatever, but I wouldn't say a heartbreak because a heartbreak is deep. So I wouldn't say I've had a heartbreak just yet. I hope I never have one ever. Fourth question, my first boyfriend. I think, like I said before, I don't take relationships seriously. I'm not the type of person that likes to be in relationships. I actually enjoy being single and being by myself. Even in high school, when all my friends like started dating and wanted to date, I was just like, it's not like my priority. But I wanted to, sometimes peer pressure gets to you, right? And you're like, everybody's doing it. Might as well try it too. So when I was in grade 10, I think I was 16, I got myself a boyfriend. So there was this guy from my area. I was living in my grandmother's village at that time. So there's this guy from my area who had liked me for a long time, but I just had always ignored him. He was like, I think 2, 3 years older than me. And I was in grade 10 at the time. He was in matric. And I was like, you know what? Let me give him a chance. Let me see how this boyfriend girlfriend thing is. So I dated him, I think, for only like a couple of months and I just ghosted him. And that was the end of that. Even today, when he sees me, he's like, me and you, we have never broken up. So technically, you are still my girlfriend because you ghosted me. So it's just that, he's a really nice guy. He was my first boyfriend. And I'm so glad he was my first boyfriend because he was a very nice, like, he treated me very well and he really liked me. I mean, he had been pursuing me for some time. Okay, question number 5 is my first kiss. My first kiss was probably when I was in grade 11 or something. I had another boyfriend at that time. He was my crush. I found out that but he actually had a crush on me too. Like, what are the odds? That is the most crazy thing. So we started dating, and yeah, I think he was my first kiss. Like, I can't think of anyone else. That was like matric, grade 11 or matric, between those 2 years. Number 7, my first ever cell phone. My first ever cell phone is such a funny story because it was my mom's second-hand phone. So my mom had this button phone. In my language, we call it upopopo or utilili. So my mom had upopopo slash utilili because my mom is one of those church women that go and attend church all the time. So this one time she was attending a church event and she got rained on. And when she got rained on, her phone was on her. So it also got rained on and it stopped. You know, when you press the buttons on a button phone, like the screen lights up so that you can see everything. So those lights stopped working. So my mom's phone was literally dark. If you tried to type anything, you couldn't see. I mean, you could see Emini because there was daylight, but Epsu, it was so difficult because everything was dark. So my mom was like, she needs a new phone. Plus, she didn't have a good eyesight, so it was very difficult for her to use Upopopo Wake. So she got herself a new phone and she gave me Utilile, and she was like, this is for me to reach you if I need to get you. It's not for anything else because obviously you can't do much with Upopopo besides call and receive calls. So that was my first phone. Second hand Popopo that does not even light up. And I think I was 13 at the time. I was like in grade 7 when she gave me that phone. I only got a working phone when I was in grade 8. That was also still a hand me down. It was a second hand from my mom's younger sister, those button ones. So she bought another phone and she gave that one to me. Luckily, that one, everything worked. It was still in good condition. I downloaded music. I could use Google. I could watch YouTube. It had everything I needed. So the Popopo though was my first ever phone. Before that, I only had like toy phones. Question number 8. My first social media app. Okay, my first social media app ever that I was on would have to be Facebook. I think at that time, after Aboma Mix City and everything, Facebook became a thing. Like, Facebook was the ish. So I got myself a Facebook account, and I think that was in grade 10, 11, 12, somewhere there. But by the time I finished high school, I was very active on Facebook. And then when I got to varsity, that's when I started to get myself Instagram. At first, I didn't have a clue what Instagram was about. Question number 9. My first time flying. So my first time flying would have to be when I went to America. I've been to other provinces, but I've always gone there like by driving. So flying, never. So the first time ever that I flew was when I went to America. That was my first flight and my first time outside the country, like I mentioned before. So that was so amazing. So amazing. Number 10, first time I ever got drunk. Okay, this one is honestly, I wouldn't say drunk. I mean, there's tipsy and there's like drunk. And I think I was so tipsy, I was almost drunk. But I mean, if you're drunk, it's different. So I would say that would have been like somewhere around 2021, 2022. But I was still in varsity, doing my honors. I was in postgrad at that time. And it was just past COVID because COVID had us confined in our houses. So as soon as we were able to get out more, me and my cousin who I was living with at the time, we used to go out a lot. Like, my cousin had really crazy friend groups, so they like to party, and she was always being chased by these like random guys. They wanted to take her out, so sometimes she'd be like, let's go Mtase, let's go. So we'd go with her to these house parties or to these clubs or hangout spots in the Emalokshini. These guys would buy us alcohol, but obviously we'd tell them we don't drink, but they'd be like, don't be party poopers, have ciders, ke, or something sweet. So they'd give us like amasavana or maybe brutal fruit and all that stuff. Obviously, if you're not someone who drinks, your alcohol tolerance is very, 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 very low. This one time, they gave us like a lot of savannah. Like, when you go out with these guys, they're always gonna buy lots of alcohol. So I think I almost finished a bottle by myself, and I felt too good to know, man, I'm not myself. Something is wrong. I felt very lightheaded. My muscles felt, when your body's like not your body, it's your body, but you can't feel it, like it's doing its own thing. I was like, this is not me. So I felt like I was so tipsy to a point I would say I was almost drunk, but I could still obviously sense everything happening around me. And I still had some of my balance, but after that day, that's when I told my cousin Uguti, Lalela, anytime I go out from now onwards, I am never drinking again because yo, Sana, I did not like that feeling. Question number 11, my first party. Okay, the first ever party I ever attended would probably have to be when I was in maybe my last year of high school. This guy asked me out and he said he wanted to take me out to a friend's party. And it wasn't really like a crazy party and everything, but it was like a lot of people there and it was held in like a village kind of situation. Like, guys, the things we do when we're young, it's so crazy. So I was living in this small town, ne, because I went to Little Flower High School. So I was living in Ikopo when I was in matric. That's where I met this guy. And this guy took me out of the town because he had said to me the party was within the town and he was gonna bring me back later. But then we ended up driving out of the town into one of the villages around Ikopo. And there was this place, it was like those stores, those stores they have in villages where they sell everything like chips, maybe small salt, small sugars, and they had a party there. Like there was music, a braai, alcohol, and everything. And it was honestly nice. I had a really nice time. But yeah, I think that was my first ever like proper party. Then after that, I'd gone to like a few parties, like house parties, gone clubbing and stuff like that. But honestly, I never really was a party person. I would go once in a while, but it's very few instances that I actually enjoyed myself because I always felt so out of place and so awkward. Like, what am I doing here? But, anyways, I would say that was my first ever party. Number 12, my first piercing. See, I have just two piercings. I mean, one, yeah, two piercings, both ears, I would say. That makes two, right? And I got these piercings when I was in grade 8, which is 2012. Yes, I had been begging my mom for piercings for almost my entire school life because most of my friends had already gotten their ears pierced when they were like little kids. But my mom was scared that I was gonna develop sores in my ears, so she did not like pierce my ears at all. But when I got to high school, I was like, everyone has piercings but me. And my friends always asked me, why don't you have piercings? Like, why don't you have piercings? And I'll be like, my mom thinks my skin is going to go bad and then I'm going to get an infection or da da da. So eventually, my mom, this one Friday after school, she just took me and we went to like a pharmacy place and she like told them to pierce my ears and I got surgical knobs, like those small little earrings. Basically, that's the first time I pierced my anything, and I've never pierced anything after that. These are literally the only piercings I have. I'll never get any piercings ever again. I mean, even these ones now, I hardly ever wear any earrings. Number 13, my first YouTube video. This is so emotional. But my first ever YouTube video has to be like the video I posted in 2023. If you scroll down my channel, you will see my first ever YouTube video was a video of me just ranting about the fact that I was supposed to take a train to New York City to watch a Yankee game, but the game got cancelled because of bad weather, and I was stuck at a train station trying to find an Uber back to my house, like to my host parents' house in New Jersey. So I started my YouTube channel when I was in America in 2023. I had always wanted a YouTube channel. I only got the courage to actually start it in 2023. Also, I had always been complaining about my phone. Like, I never had a good quality phone, like to take videos, and I never knew how to edit. But eventually, I was like, you know what, girl? After I got my iPhone, when I got to America, I bought this iPhone on Amazon. It was a secondhand iPhone. I think I got it for like 200 and something dollars. And after I got this phone, I was like, there's no excuse. I need to start vlogging. And so I just, on that day, I randomly just started vlogging. I did not know how I was going to edit because I didn't know how to edit. I did not even know anything. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to make this into a YouTube video, but I'm going to make a video. And that's how the first video on my channel came about. It wasn't even planned. Last question, question number 14. My first time moving away from home. So the first time moving away from home for me has to be when I was in matric, because I had to go stay in the town I was studying, which is in Ikopo, because I'm from Umzimkulu. So I had to move to Ikopo and stay there because that's where I studied. So for my afternoon classes, morning classes, you know, when you're in matric, you have a lot of like extra classes. So for me to be closer to school for my extra classes, I moved to Ikopo. Like literally everyone who lived far from school had to move to Ikopo. So that's when I started moving away from, that's the first time I moved away from home. And after that, I sort of like never lived with my parents again, because I did live at home in Pietermaritzburg when I was in varsity, but my parents did not live there. They lived somewhere else. So after that, I never got to live with my parents except when it's like holidays or family gatherings. But ever since that time, me and my parents just sort of lived separately. And especially after I moved to America, obviously I was a country away, and now I live here in China. I'm still countries away. I don't think I'll ever live with my parents ever again. Because even if I go home now, my parents work somewhere else, so they live somewhere else. They don't live like in our family house in Pietermaritzburg. So it's always like when I'm there, they're not there. When they're there, I'm not there, and stuff like that. Those are all the questions I have, guys, for my first time tag. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys on the next video, obviously. And remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell to get notified every time I make a post, because you know what's up. You deserve only the best things, okay? Bye for now.